नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So as we all know, this Upanishad is a dialogue between a very apt student called Nachiketas, who had approached the Lord of Death Yamaha, and the perseverance of the student to learn the ultimate truth, where he asked that he is not going to settle in spite of all temptations being given by the Lord of Death to find out, whether the student, how steadfast is the student for that. To understand this, he even tempted with the celestial, happiness, as well as the life of a king who owned the whole earth, with all the benefits of the Swargaloka also. Yet, not, tempted by that, Nachiketa still insists on learning what is the truth about life. Some people say that after death something exists. Some others say this is the be all and end all of life. I want to know the truth. And then Yama says that, it is very subtle, very, very difficult to understand. So for which Nachiketa says, when you say that it is subtle and very difficult to understand, means you know the truth. So I'm all the more interested that I'm not going to live without knowing that. And that starts the dialogue between them. And we have seen that what are the ways in which different examples and different ways in which Yamaha has given the Etad Vaitat. This is that indeed is the way in which he has mentioned in many of the shlokas, mantras before. And in the last class, we saw that, one of the most, essential part of this Upanishad, or the heart of this Upanishad, was done in the last class. Agnir eko bhuvanam pradishto rupam rupam pratirupo babuva. Ekastada sarvabhuta andaratma rupam rupam pratirupo babuva was an example given that. Just as light entering any of those places illumines everything, the entirety of the place, and the entirety of the place is limited due to the walls of the place. But if the walls are not there, it will go everywhere, including outside, Bahishcha. Same is the case with Vayu, which is contained in a container, is not limited the container, it is within and outside also. So, like that, the Sarvagadatvam of the Antaratma, even though it is called Sarvabhuta Antaratma, it is the inner self of everyone. But at the same time, it is Bahishcha. It is also there outside. So, the spark or the light which is felt inside is not limited to the inside. It is also outside. To give that as an example, he said in the last mantra that Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyado bhanti kutoyam agni ameva bandham anubhati sarvam tasya vasa sarvamitam vibhati. It cannot be enlightened, or it cannot be divulged in the light of the sun or the stars and the moon, nor by the flash of lightning. And what to say about this perishable Agni, or the fire which we see in our day-to-day life on the mortal world of earth. Tameva bandham anubhati sarvam. Only when that shines, even the sun can shine, the moon can shine, the stars can shine, even this Agni can shine. Tasya vasa sarvamitam vibhati. Only by the light of that Atma Tattvam, Only when the awareness of the Atma is shining on the objects, we are becoming aware of those objects existing there. So it is very clear that it is not limited to within our own, individual awareness. Awareness is there under Bahishcha. It is inside as well as outside. But ignorance is the one which is limiting us to seeing that awareness is happening only within my intellect or within my body. So to narrate and to remove these type of further things, he is concluding the mantras into the next valli, giving different examples and also explaining it in a different perspective altogether for us to understand. Now the first mantra is a very famous mantra, which is there literally almost in the same manner in the Bhagavad Gita also. Urdhamulaha avashakaha yesha ashwatta sanadanaha tadeva shukram tad brahma tadeva amrutamuchyate tasmin lokaha shrita sarve gadu tadu na atyedi kasyana edadvaitat. Edadvaitat. This indeed is that one which I have been talking all this time. O Nachiketa, I can give you an example by which I can depict it to you or make you understand. Urdhva moolam atashava shaka. That means that imagine a peepal tree or a banyan tree with its root in the top and branches spread toward the downward. Meant an inverted tree of banyan tree. Now, banyan tree is a sacred tree, but the word Ashwatha also has got na shattu, shwashwata tat ashwatha. That which is not immortal is Ashwatha. But he has also added the word Sanatana in this one to explain that. So don't think that it is a perishable tree which I am talking about, which you and I see on the surface of the earth. It is a tree depicted with its root upwards and the branches and the leaves and the figs and the trees out the downward. This, an example, is to understand that from one seed, how a small, if you all, I don't know how many of us have seen the seed of a fig tree. The fruit of a fig tree itself is the size of a gooseberry or a marble. But when you break open it, you will find millions of small seeds in it. Now each of them are potential for a huge banyan tree which can even spread even to almost about 200, 300 square meters if it is let to grow. And we will see that branches also have got, which are supporting things which are coming and which is going down to the earth. So if you, after some time, you don't know which is the main trunk, which is the subsequent trunk which has come, or from the branches which has dropped down. Now imagine such a tree which is upside down. From a seed, a tree of this size has come means the entire creation which we can imagine is from that one source. And as it comes down, it is becoming many, the trunk and the branches and the leaves and these are all the multitudes of the universe and the cosmos which we are all part of it. So each leaf or each twig in that represents one creation of that. But everything comes from that one seed. Now, in the normal sense, we see the seed sprouting from the ground, going upwards for the sunlight and its energy and its existence. But here, it is depicted upside down. It doesn't need anybody's energy for its own survival. It is the source of the energy. The source is the sun. Here, it is on the top of even the sun, because the sun is a part of the creation from the point of this philosophical tree which we are talking about. At the same time, the beauty is that there are supporting, that veins or the, rope type of a thing which are coming from the branches, which is going in the same direction of the root into the top. So some philosophers say those are the branches of jnanis who have found the source, and they are going back towards that, leaving the rest of the thing, and they are supporting this. Their presence in the world, the jnanis who have been there in the world or who are in the world, are the one who is supporting the world in today what it is. So in all that formalities, that depiction of the philosophical tree is in such a way that one small seed is capable of creating such a big tree. What to talk about that one source which cannot be even seen with the eyes, who has created the entire cosmos, and then the one who have realized that source, where is this source, and are the jnanis who are working towards that. This is the picture which is given that. So imagine, O Nachiketa, this is what it is like. Amrita Muchyate, it is immortal. Tad Brahma, that itself is Brahma. Tadeva Shukram, that is the most thing. So if I'm analyzing the verse, it is Yeshaha Sanadana Ashwata, this universe, imagine like an eternal fig tree, which Urdhva Moolam Avdashaka, the roots upwards and the branches downward. Tadeva Shukram, Shukram means pure, that is pure. And Tadeva Brahma, that itself is Brahma. Amrita Muchyate, it is told, it is called Amritam. And it is called Amritam in the sense here it is because the Ashwatthama tree is supposed to be mortal. But here is a more immortal tree which you are talking about. It doesn't, Yat Krutagam Tad Nashyam. Whatever is a creation is perishable. So from that point of view, we cannot say this is a creation from the universal source of Brahman, and then it will, since it's a creation, then it has got it has got a end date, a beginning date and end date. But here it is Amrita Muchyate. Here it is an immortal tree, which has no beginning, no end. And Sarve Lokaha Shritaha Tasmin U Na Kaschana Atyeti. All the world, which means all the branches and the leaves and trees which are represented by the different worlds, represented by this one, is in Tasmin Shritaha, is depending upon that. And Na Atyeti, nothing exceeds that. This is what it is saying, that it is not beyond, nothing goes, exceeds the life or the mortality of that, because it is the one which is permanently immortal. So this is how the tree has to be seen by us who are looking for a figurative way of looking at that. Even though it's philosophical in nature, we have to understand that this is not a tree by nature, it's a philosophical depiction of that one seed which has become many, or from that one immortal one, which appears to be all the mortals. Everything is mortal in that, because leaves will fall, the fruits will fall, branches will decay, but the seed will remain. Yat idam kincha jagat sarvam prana yejati nispratam mahadbayam vajramudhyatam ya etat vidur mrita te bhavanti. Now he is going and explaining how the world functions in that. Mahadbayam vajramudhyatam yatat. Like a weapon similar to lightning in a hand, if somebody is coming behind us, what is the feeling we are having? We are having a fear, no? And when we are under fear, we do not stop running, and that running is never stopping. as long as the fear is there. So here a picturization is given that how the whole world is functioning because it is continuously functioning because as if they are all having fear of the creator or the Brahman, who from where that creation has happened. And that is why different names and in the 3 or 4 mantras here he is giving the detailed description. The first of the mantras is Idam Jagat Sarvam. This entire universe, Yancha Kinchit, Nisrutam, whatever that has been emerging out of it. Tat Ejati Prane Mahad Bayam Uddidam Vajram. That it remains in that Atman, yet it moves as if with the fear of that thunderbolt which is there. Ya yadad viduhu te amrita bhavanti. One who knows that it is that force of Atman because of which everything in my, now forget about the tree, come to our individual body. Who is operating the prana? Who is operating the heart? Who is operating the digestion system? Who is operating the skin, the hair growth, decay, nails, and the internal organs, kidney, liver, everything in our body? Can we say we are the one who is operating that? Even when we are in deep sleep, when we are not having the identity with the body also, it is functioning. To depict that there is some force with which, the fear of which these organs or these, functions do not stop functioning unless it decides to stop it. We have no control on our internal organs. We have no control on our prana, which we can stop and at a will, how long we want to do this thing. We cannot stop our heart. Nothing can be done. It's all running by instinct. Same is the case with the sun, the moon, the stars and everything, which will come in the next mantra setting. The person, those who people know that there is this power residing in everything and it is there in every world or every atom it is there. They amrita bhavanti. They become immortal because they know that it is from this root, the bijam, that some small seed, the whole world has come. So they are not separate from that. They are part of that seed or they are the seed in a different form. Karya Karana Bhavam. That the seed itself has become the tree and that is why that it appears to be separate, but it is not in reality separate from that. It is in essence the juice and that seed, what is from which the tree has come. Same way, it is from the same source the body has come. The functions of the body is working and everything one is working because of tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati, because of which everything is working. Then in the next mantra, he says, Asya bhayad agni tapati, Asya bhayad tapati suryaha, Asya bhayad indrascha vayuscha, Asya bhayad mrityuddhavati panchama. Now he is taking from the individual level to the whole cosmos. Asya bhayad agni tapati. Because of this act of, forced by that. See, here you should not take bhayam as a fear from that, fear of God or fear of Atman and everything. Fear is given as a depicting that never goes from the mind of a person even after the whole, knowledge, that fear, as long as we have the separatedness, Idaram andaram gurde tata satya bhayam bhavati is what the mantra said in Taittiriya Upanishad. So as long as we have the feeling of the separatedness from that Brahma, we are under the fear of it because Dvitiyat vai bhayam bhavati. From the second we have always had the fear of it. So Agni, when it thinks I am the Agni tapati, Agni is functioning because as if it is fear of that Atma. The separatedness is the cause for that. Same way for the Surya, which is that the non-stop functioning of the fire or the sun, and Indrascha. The Indra is the, king of the Devas. Vayuscha. Here Indra you can also take as Indriyas or the sense organs in the human body. Vayuscha is the wind, or we can take as a prana also. Asya bhayad mrityur dhavati panchama. The fifth one among them, the Agni, Surya, Indra, Vayu, and the fifth is the Mrityu. In the human body, if you look at the heat, the Agni is representing the body heat. Surya is the vision with which we are able to, which is representing the sense of light which we are seeing. Indrascha, Vayuscha are the sense organs. Vayu is pranas and Indra is the sense organs. So Pancha Prana and Panchendriyas. All of them, and including the fifth one, the last one, which will take away even the body. Mrityur Davati Panchama. Even the Mrityu, it also goes from one created item to another created item. It never stops eliminating whatever has been created, because that is the job of the Mrityu. Mrityu means to eliminate, to hear. So this is all these functionalities which we see in the world, or is tasya bhayat, in fear of that. Now here, when I am using the word fear, you should not, again I am repeating, don't think that it is something dreadful or fearful. It is only to show that non-stop intention to work comes from only to depict from the Bhaya. So they are all functioning non-stop in the world that have been created, because that is what they have been created for. And then they take the support from the Brahma for that. Iha chet ashak bodhum prak sharirasya visrasa tada sargeshu lokeshu sharirastvaya kalpade. Chet bodhum iha. If one manages to know ashakat, one manages to know this here, prak visrasah sharirasya, before one's body falls dead. Tataha, that otherwise, sharirasvaya kalpate, one becomes fit in the body only for lokeshu sargeshu. It goes from world to world. What does it mean that? If one comes to know and wants to understand the reality of the functioning of the world and the functionality of the individual, who we are or what is we are and what is our true nature, for such a person, he has no worry. Before he falls, his body falls down after death. If one person knows, bin Jivan Mukta is what he is indicated here, there is no fear for him left, because he has understood that he doesn't come back to this world again. Or else, this who do not know this truth, they keep running from life to life. They're running, it doesn't stop with this life. They keep running from one world to another world, life after life, until they know about it. This is how this whole thing is functioning. Yada adarshe tada atmani, yada swapne tada pitraloke, yada apsu pariva drishyate, tada gandharvaloke, chaya tapo yasa brahmaloke. Now he is giving the examples of what is that knowing, how does it happen, if you know it before your body falls, then there is no birth again. But how does it happen, or how does it look like? Yada adrashe tada atmani. How we able to see our own reflection in a adarsha, means mirror. In a mirror, our own reflection is perfect and we see it every aspect of our face or our body in a mirror, which means it is a perfect replica in a mirror. but it is unreal in the sense that it doesn't have a reality, it's only a reflection. Same way, Atmani, in the awareness, we are projecting ourselves as individuals. Now, I am reminded of a famous stuti here, or the shloka here, from the Drishyam Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijandargatam Pasyannatmani Mayaya Bahurivor Bhudam Yada Nidraya. That what does the shloka there? Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. Like a world reflected on a mirror, even though every aspect of the world is seen in the reflection of the mirror, Pasyannatmani. Same way, it is in our awareness that whole world is being reflected. We are seeing the world is outside, but our awareness is reflecting the world which is outside there. And the world outside is known only when the reflection takes place in our awareness. Pasyannatmani, and it is this separation which is seen as outside, while the experience are inside. Mayaya, due to the ignorance or the maya or avidya. Bahirivo, the world is outside. Bhudam yada nidraya. Now, in the sleep, we have, in the dream, the world is created. Now, the dreamer is there in the dream itself, and for the dreamer who is in the dream, for it also the world of his dream is outside. But everything, if you look at from the point of view, the one who is dreaming, it is all happening within himself. But he himself goes into the dream and he sees the world of the dream as outside him. Now, this is the example which is given here. Yada adrishe tada atmani. Yada sopne. Like in the dream. Tada pidruloke. Now in the pidruloka, the example which Shankara gives is slightly different. He says that in the pidruloka, the realization is like swapna, which it will not really materialize. Only in this world, here, ihache avedi atasatyamasti, na cheti veda mahata vinashti. There is another sloka from another Upanishad. What it says is that if you learn it, if you know it from here, that is all we can do. It is the only thing which we can do it. Na veti chet mahati vinashti. If you do not know, it is the greatest calamity one can ever think of. That means it is the biggest loss, having got the human body and an intellect which can think. If we do not think and find out what is the reality of, you have wasted our life in this time. That is what Upanishad says. But here it is saying that the same way that, if you ask many, this is what we are seeing it. If you don't realize it, you may go to Pidraloka, but there you won't be able to realize it, because Pidraloka is like a Swapnaloka. There nothing is real. Yada apsu paridrishyate iva tada Gandharvaloke. Now Gandharvaloka is another loka which is mentioned. There it is like a mirage, reflections in a mirage. So there is no reality of that. There are two examples of that thing. Chayatavo Brahmaloke iva. Now there is one possibility is in the Brahmaloka where you can see it like the light and the shadow, clearly you can see it, but yet it is seen outside, not within yourself. You do not get to know as your reality. You may know the truth, but as light and shadow which you have to see physically outside. You know that the difference between the two, but that doesn't become your own, your experience. Only in this world, we have the potency to know that it is my tattvam, atmani, yadat adrashe. like a mirror, I am able to reflect the whole world in my awareness. When I am saying that it is not restricted to the body which I am owning it. I am not restricted to this body, physical body, even though I have to say that for transaction purpose, this body is irrelevant to me. But when I'm coming from the point of view of my awareness is not restricted to my body. I am aware of my body. I am aware of my surroundings. I am aware of the world. I am aware of everything. I am even aware of what is not existing. That which is not existing also as non-existing, something which is non-existent is also in my awareness. Nothing is outside myself in my awareness. From when you look at from that point of view, without awareness, nobody can even pinpoint or tell that this is outside awareness. That means everything is within me, Atmani. This is what is, if you do not know in this life before your body falls in, you have lost this life for yourself. This is what Yama says to Nachiketas. In the next sloka, he says that Indriyanam pratak bhavam udayastasya yachayat pratak utpadhyamananam matva dhiro na shochati. Now, dhira na shochati. Here, the Demantaha, the intelligent one, he is never worried or he is not grieving because he has known what is the reality. Yet pratak bhavam, what is the separate nature of indriyas? Indriyas, this is how the second valley started. Paranchikani vitranat swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati. It looks outward. So the indriyas are limited. Indriyas cannot be seen. This is what he wanted to say that. Pratak bhavam, the capacity of the indriya sense organs is known to such a wise person who knows that this tattvam or this truth which is being divulged by Yama as a Brahma tattvam, Amrita Bhavanti, knowing which you become immortal, is not indriya gocharam. It is not within the capacity of the indriyas to know about it. Cha udayas tas samayo. That the indriyas have got ups and downs in the sense that they have capacities which they become big, where their potency is 100%, then there are times when they are not even potentiated. Like the eye has a potency to see only when the light is not, light is there. When the light is not there, the eyes are of no use. Same is the case with all our sense organs. Then they have got ups and downs. So here is some truth which has no ups and downs, which is immortal and the big and everywhere. How a limited indriya can, or the sense organ can even fathom that. Utpadhyamananam pratak bhavam. That actions which are coming from actions and knowing them as separate from that body. That even here the karmendriyas are also being included in it. There is limitation for our organs of action, including intellect, which is one of the subtlest and more wide-ranging of the karmendriyas which we have, the thinking capacity. Even that has limitations when it comes to the limit of the limitless or the immortal self, which is that the one who knows about it, the dhiraha matva na shotati, not knowing that this is not within the realm of the indriyas, but not with the realm of the action. I cannot achieve by my any of the action. Na yatnyana, na danena, na tapaha. Yatnyadana tapakarma cannot get me this, neither by the austerity, nor by the chanting, nor by the pujas, nor by doing pranayama, nor doing by any action, yatnya, etc. I cannot achieve this. This is beyond the indriyas, beyond the karmendriyas, beyond the sendriyas. So he is repeating another here from which is a second valli mantra in a slightly different way. Indriyebhya panam manaha manasa sattva muttamam sattvadiva mahanatma mahado abhyaktam uttamam. Now if we look at it, if you remember if what we have done in the previous mantra, we have seen that where when the chariot example was given, here we had heard that That is what is Indrebhya Panam Manaha. Indrebhya Param Harta, Hartebhya Param Manaha, Manasastu Para Buddhir, Buddhiratma Mahan Paraha. Mahada Param Avyaktam, Avyaktat Purusha Paraha, Purushat Param Na Kinchit. Sa Kashta Saha Paragadi is what in the Tritiya Valli of the Pratama Adhyaya has said. Whereas here he is saying that Indriyebhya Param Manaha, Manasa Sattva Uttamam. Now, this is superior to the senses, because that means superior to senses means it is not within the realm of the senses. The senses cannot fathom it. Manasa Sattvam Uttamam. The mind, which is superior to the intellect, superior to the sense organs, is superior to the condition or the limitation or the fact or the capacity of the indriyas. Sattvadim manas mahanatma. This sattvam here is intellect. This mahanatma, this atma of ours is mahan, is beyond the sattvam. Even the intellect cannot comprehend it because intellect has a limitation to comprehension. This is beyond that mahanatma. This mahanatma, this great Atma or the Mahat is bigger for even the intellect to grasp it. Mahadam Avyaktam Uttamam. Now, here is a esoterical statement of that is Mahata Avyaktam Uttamam. Compared to the Mahata, that means Mahanatma, compared to the Mahanatma, Avyaktam Uttamam. Now, since we have been always thinking that Atma is the biggest and everything. Here is what Yama is giving one more surprise to Nachiketa, saying that don't think that Atma which is residing in you or what you say that is by Andar Bahischa Andaratma, Angushta Matra Purusha, Bahar Andascha Bahischa, that is the biggest. Avyakta Muktamam. The avyakta form or the unmanifest form of the Atma is superior to even the Atma which is in the form of multitude here. Sarvam Khaluidam Brahma, even though Brahma is supposed to be in the form of many. Now superior to that is the unmanifest form of that Brahma, which is known as Avyaktam. That means the fig tree which is of such a big size has no existence unless the seed which is even not able to see by the eye. Same way, the whole world has no substance or existence without the Avyaktam, which is the unmanifest form of that awareness, where the awareness or the existence is not even existing in the form of existence. It is the unmanifest form of it. That is greater than the Atman which we are thinking. Now he is taking further down there. Avyakta tu parapurushaha vyapagha alinga evacha yam nyatva muchyate janduhu amrudatvam cha gacchati. Now he is relating this mantra to that one which is saying that though if you do not know it before your body falls here in this life, you will be going in search of Mrityurdavati Panchamahiti. You will be running after one after the other life in all the worlds. Millions and millions of lives you will be taking. But knowing this only, you can stop that running. You will stop running of the ghost only when you know that it is not a ghost, it is a post. Same way, you will stop running if you know that it is not a water pond, it is a mirage, you will stop running. Same way, knowing the truth that what is made out of everything is that, then only that running will stop. Same way, here he is saying that Avyakta tu Purusha Parapurushaha. That Purusha or that entity He cannot use a word, but so he uses the word Purusha here. Avyaktat Paraha. It is even superior than the Avyakta. Now that word is very, very crucial. Avyaktat Paraha. Purusha. Why? Because Avyaktat, the word Avyaktat can come only from Vyaktat. That means what is manifest. If the word manifest is there only, you can say unmanifest. You can add the un to the manifest only if the word manifest has got any relevance at all. The creation came from the unmanifest when you say that, because there are manifest, which we call it as the world of multiplicity, therefore there is an unmanifest form. Like the pot, when it was in the mud form, it was unmanifest pot in the form of mud. Satkaryavadam. Where did the pot come from? No, the pot was there as unmanifest form in the mud before. When it took a name and shape and form, then we call the mud itself, we call it as pot. The mud has never become the pot, but pot is a reality. It has got a artha kriya karita, means the utility is there. It can hold water, cook one, or store things like that. There is a utility for the name and form. But the reality is that the name and form is nothing but mud. If you remove the mud from the pot doesn't exist. Same way, the manifest, which is the world outside, has come from that unmanifest Brahma, that Purusha Paraha, Parapurusha. No, that Avyakta. If the Avyakta, if that seed of the banyan tree has not been there, the banyan tree would not have come into existence. Same way, if the Avyakta was not there, none of the Vyaktas or none of the manifest, the world which we are experiencing, has no existence at all. Because the manifestation came from that unmanifest. Now here he says, the Purusha, that Mahan Purusha, the ultimate Purusha, or from that, is even superior to the Avyaktam, even superior to the unmanifest. Alinga evacha. Linga means identification. Alinga means there is no way to identify that. It cannot be called Avyakta. It cannot be called, I am calling it by a name Purusha, because even the Purusha name, you don't consider it as a human being or a man with the hands and legs and forms. It's not that. Alinga evacha. It doesn't have any identification to which words can comprehend it or control it or bring it into the nomenclature limit. Alingacha. Yam natva, knowing that Janduhu, who have been created, Janma Yasya Astisa Jantu, who are all taken birth, or those who have been created, Muchyate, they get released from what? From this running of everlasting running from life to life, living to living, day to day, night to night, and all sorts of time and space and limitations are released. He is released, Muchyate. Amrudatvam Chagachati. He becomes immortal. For him, for such a person who knows this as the truth, as his own nature, that is what it is all about. And that is my nature. And I am the Purusha I am that part of the Purusha, or the Purusha itself is, when it became Avyakta, and from Avyakta it has become the Vyakta, or it is unmanifest, and unmanifest became the manifest. All those are one essence. The pot itself is nothing but mud. The waves are nothing but the ocean. The ocean itself is appearing as multiple waves. The one who knows this type of reality, Amrudatvam Chagachati, he gets from this birth into immortality. He is this thing. Na sadrsho tishtati rupamasya na chakshuk pashyati kaschanainam. Hridamanisa manasa viklipto yat Tad vidur amritaste bhavanti. Such a person will become immortal, amrita bhavanti. Who? Na sadrisho tishtati rupamasya. Now one, there is nothing similar to this. To compare and tell, even the Ashwatha thing I could only tell because from the manifest and unmanifest. But Purusha, which is Param than the Avyakta, there is no Sadrisha Rupam with, there is no example in the world I can tell you what it is like. Na Rupam Asya Tishtati Sadrisha. There is nothing, there is no example, no simile can be used to explain that. Na kaschani paschati chakshusha. Now chakshusha is only one example of giving to all the type of sense organs, both karmendriya and jnanendriyas, the sense organs and actions organs. Na kaschana paschati. Cannot be grasped by any of the sense organs, nor there is a simile which is outside, which I can show that. Hrida avliklitta manasa manisha. Through the mind of one who thinks about from the Shruti Vakyas, from the words of the Upanishad, who can contemplate on that in their heart, enam etad viduhu, they know that it is not knowable. It cannot be comprehended. They know that it cannot be comprehended, and such people who knows that it is a reality. At the same time, it is not comprehensible within the mind, with the instruments. That knowledge alone can rise in the mind. Asti, that is, there is this Purusha, that is reality from where all these things are appearing. At the same time, that Purusha, that ultimate cannot be comprehended with, because there is no similar thing which I can show it from the world outside or anything, nor can the sense organs of action and or sense organs of, the senses can clutch that. One who knows that, yet he cannot deny the existence of that reality. Esa etad viduhu te amrita bhavanti. Such a person is immortal indeed. He has no more going and coming. He stops him. He is not worried about his body falling, because where can the body fall apart from that? Where can the waves fall but to ocean? He knows that sarvatra, sarvam khalidam brahma. He is not worried about it. See, he is amrita bhavanti. He becomes immortal. We'll stop it here. And another 9 more mantras are there, which we will do it in the next Wednesday. With that, I think we should be able to complete this Upanishads. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavada. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Aurobindoji. It was really a thought-provoking discussion on the nature of the Atman and its various aspects of its reality, that which pervades and that which is beyond this manifest universe as well. I request Jatavedaji, if you are there, a few closing remarks on this discussion, and then you can start the general question and answer. Jatavedaji, are you there?
Yeah, I am there. I am there, Prasad. Thank you. Thank you,
Some
Arpinji.
remarks, Jatavedaji, and then
Yes.
we'll have general a question and answers with Aurobindoji.
Yeah, please. Thank you, Arbindoji. Today's session was wonderful, as it is the same earlier sessions. The first mantra reminded the Bhagavad Gita sloka, that is the 15th chapter. That simile of Ashwatha tree, that was wonderful actually. This is the ancient Ashwatha tree, whose roots are above and whose branches spread below. that is verily the pure. That is Brahman, and that's also called the immortal. Here you emphasized both aspect of purity and immortality of that. And it in that all words and all words rest in that, and none can transcend it. Verily, this is that. That was the most beautiful explanation. And in the second mantra, it is very, someone without the assistance of a guru or without knowing the tradition, if they read these mantras, they definitely mislead by the very usage of the words. Here, Aurobindoji put it very properly. In the second and third mantra, here we should not take it as a bhayam, as the terror. It is just as whatever we call it as Gaurava Mishrita Bhaya. See, whatever the respect, out of respect there will be some sort of fear to the teachers and something like that. We should take in that sense, not the terror or something like that. The very prana is being present in the whole universe. It comes out of him and vibrates within him. And then the next third, just for the fear of him, the fire burns. For the fear of him, shines the sun. And for fear of him, do the Indra, Vayu, and even the Yama, death, the fifth, proceed with their respective functions. That was the third, gist of the third mantra. And in the fourth mantra, if one is able to realize that Brahman here, before the fall of the body, one becomes free from bondage of the world. If not, one has to take the body again and in the worlds of creation. This is so beautiful mantra of the Upanishads. The message of Upanishads talks about the very gift of this human body. That's why in Kannada they call it as sadhana sharira. Sadhana shariravidu nee dayadi kottaddu sadharanavalla sadhu priyane. It means that this body itself is the sadhana sharira. You will have to realize this Atman in this body only. So this is the chance. If you miss it, you will have to reborn again. And getting a human birth is not so easy. So Upanishad will emphasize that realize the Brahman, realize the Atman in this body only. Before falling of this body, you realize the Brahman. That is the gist of the fourth mantra. And in the fifth, as Aurobindoji puts it, how and where, through the mode, and Brahman is seen in the self as one sees oneself in the mirror. In the world of mains, that is the Pitruloka, as one pursues oneself in a dream. And in the world of Gandharvas, the one's reflection is seen in the water. The world of Brahma, the light and shade. This is one of the most beautiful mantras, and various acharyas have interpreted it different because the scope is there in that mantra. It may talk about the capacity of the seer and how it is different from each one to other. There are various interpretations are there. Very nice mantra. In the fifth, it talks about the Brahman is perceived differently in different planes of consciousness also. The similes talks about those things actually. That's one of the most important mantra. And in the sixth, the wise one, having known the distinct nature of the senses which are separately produced as well as about their rising and setting, and who grieves not. Here, once again, whatever the third Valli shloka, it's got repeated in another sense, because beyond the sense is the mind, and beyond the mind is the intellect, and beyond the intellect is the great Atman, and superior to great Atman is the unmanifested. We should read the seventh and eighth together. And verily beyond all the unmanifested is the all-pervading Purusha, devoid of all the distinctive marks, and knowing whom every creature is emancipated and attains immortality. Once again, the 7th and 8th mantras are very, very beautiful. Other acharyas have used these mantras for propounding their own philosophy. They have seen the beautiful aspects of that depth of these mantras, because in Purana stories, you will find so many names. Here, for each and every sense organ, a deity is given. They are called Abhimani Devatas. There are Indriya Abhimani Devatas are there, Arthabhimani Devatas are there, and Manobhimani Devatas. And this go to Buddhi Abhimani Devata and Mahatattva Abhimani Devata and Prakriti Abhimani Devata, like this. And by using these two, they have interpreted so well that you will understand the Puranas in a correct sense if you understand the very message which is given in the 7th and 8th. Because here they do talk about beyond the senses is the mind, and beyond the mind is the intellect, and beyond the intellect is the great Atman. Great Atman, they refer to the Hiranyagarbha, that is Chaturmukha Brahma, and the unmanifested, they will refer to the Mahalakshmi. She is the Prakriti Abhimani Devata. For intellect, they will take Saraswati. Something like that. That even the hierarchy, they do take it, and by referring to this, they do refer to the Purusha. In that Purusha, it's beyond unmanifested. It's all pervading. A divide of all distinctive marks, knowing whom every creature is emancipated and attains immortality. That's how beautifully puts things in order by Upanishads. And in the 9th mantra, his form is not within the field of vision. None can see him with the eyes. He is revealed by the intuition of the intellect, which resides in the heart and controls the mind. Those who know him become immortal. So today, Aurobindoji dealt in all the 9 mantras, given most beautiful, the meanings to it, based on his own anubhava also. He puts it very, very properly. That was fantastic. Thank you, Aurobindoji, for a wonderful talk on this Upanishads. Probably, I request Aurobindoji to tell which will be the next Upanishads, which we may take it after the conclusion of this Upanishads. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jayadevji. Thank you, Prasad, for supporting. We will next Wednesday, when we have the final part of this, the concluding part of the Upanishad, we'll decide which one should we take, or all those details we can do that time.
Welcome, Yogji, Srinivasji, Karanji.
Hi all. Namaste Arbindaji.
Namaste,
Very nice session. Thank you.
Namaste, Karan. Namaste, Yoga. Namaste, Patrick.
Namaskar, Raj ji, Arvind ji, Jatved ji, Prasad ji, Patrick ji. I just have a question, not from the question point of view. Arvind ji, you very rightly said that Avyaktam, the unmanifest one, And even you use the word because it's coming from the dualistic language. The Purus of the Avyaktam is far superior to this Vyaktam. That means, even though from the Avyaktam point of view, Sarvakal Vidam Brahman, that whatsoever is manifesting is only that. It's the ultimate reality. So ultimately, who is there to say the Avyaktam Purus is superior? Thank you, sir.
That is why the mantra says, Alinga evacha. Na sadrusho asti. There is no example which we can say, and it is Alinga, means without any marks of identification or qualities or lakshanas, or what you call identification. That's the only word I can think about. Identification with which, it can be identified as what it is. Even as I told you, always, space is something which we accept as a reality. But without a contrast, you cannot say what space is. Only space can be explained only when there is something in the space which is, limiting the unmanifest form of the space by some manifestation in it. Whatever manifests in space, we call it as occupying the space. But the outside space, we cannot limit it or cannot say how it is or what it is like. So here, this is in a very gross example for the, what you call the limitation of the language or limitation in the absence of an identification mark, how to explain things. Now, the seed from which the tree has come, you cannot see that seed once the tree has come up. Now we are the trees of, or the branches or the leaves of the tree. Can we ever say where the seed is there? All we can say is that every atom of the tree is from the seed, and the seed itself is the tree. Same way, it is that unmanifest or the one which is where the unmanifest also is from. Because unmanifest is just before the manifestation. From where the manifestation takes place, the prior state is called unmanifest. Like the pot before becoming pot is in the unmanifest form in the mud. But at least there is an existence of pot as an unmanifest form in the mud. But imagine a situation of the entire creation before becoming the world of creation in the unmanifest form. I can only give my example is that when I am waking up, before I wake up, my world of experiences were in the unmanifest form as in my deep sleep. Neither was I aware of it, neither was I aware of as I am the one who is going to have the manifestation of the world of my own world of experiences. So from that point of view, the unmanifest world where is that I can say before the world became manifest for me, in the form of unmanifest, it was there in me in my deep sleep. Then I am the Purusha, in me the unmanifest world was there for me, then that is the way in which I can explain that. But now imagine this as from a cosmic Purusha, from whose the unmanifest form to the manifest form it comes. It is the language which we have to transact with which we have to give an explanation. In reality, the seed itself is the tree. Same way, it is that Tattvam alone which is in the form of multitude here. Whether you call it as Hiranyagarbha, Indra, Chandra, Surya, Agni, you, me, or anybody in the world. Where else can it come from? Where can the water drops and water droplets and cloud and the ice and the snow and the rain and the drainage and the river and the pond, everything can come, the water come from? It all has to come from one water only. Same way, that Purusha, before became the manifest. That is why if you really understand the Nasadiya Suktam of the Rig Veda, even that the Rishi who is chanting that Sukta, he is wordless toward the end of his chanting. Maybe he is refusing his own statement toward the last sentence. That is the situation. But if one has to look into the 9th mantra very critically, it gives us an indication that mind can know that it is unknowable, yet there is the possibility of an existence or an entity or a positive things from which everything has come as an experience, yet the seed cannot be seen when the tree is formed. Same way, when we are in the form of the world or the experiences or the experience of the world, even with our mind, we cannot know that. Only we can know that only such a thing is the reality from which it has come. That knowledge that the seed is seen in every atom of the tree, the same reality is what is appearing as the multitude of the world, including you and me. That only can be understood by the mind, not the source from where everything has come.
Yeah, thank you, sir. That was so profound. From your experience, I would like to ask, sir, that when the unmanifest one, the avyaktam, the Purus of the avyaktam, when it manifests, does the basic quality of being unmanifest change? You are very right at one instance when you say the seed is the tree. Every atom, every tree is the seed. But in a language when we say the mind comes in the manifest reality. And when we use this word, mind cannot know it. At same point when we say everything is Brahma, mind is also that reality, avyaktam. So why should mind cannot know that, and why should mind should be able to know that? It's all time known and unknown and beyond, sir. Thank you.
Yat manasa na manute, enar manur hitam mano. The mind cannot know it because it is that with which the mind is knowing. The eyes can see everything other than itself. Even if we are saying that I can see my eyes in a mirror, you are not seeing your eyes, you are seeing a reflection of your eyes. The experience of seeing anything with the eyes is a direct vision. But when you are seeing a reflection of your eyes, you are not having a direct vision of your experience because you are seeing it in a two-dimensional thing. You are not able to see it in a three-dimensional thing. Your own eyes. Same way, mind cannot mind about mind itself, because the moment mind starts thinking, it can only think about the thought which was there in the previous fraction of a moment. What was his thought? Because it is with another thought that the past thought can be thought about. Not a thought while thinking itself can be non-thought thinkable by that mind. That is the reason that mind cannot know about it, because that is with which the mind is thinking. So it is just like climbing your own shoulders. You can't do that. You cannot touch your own index finger. But why? But your index finger is always in touch with that. Same way, the mind is always in the knowledge or in awareness. It is that awareness with which mind is knowing. But mind cannot know what is awareness. It can only aware of things which is other than that.
So may I ask something?
Yes, Joy.
Hi, good evening,
Good evening, Joy.
everyone. Yeah, so, Arbindoji, it makes sense, right? The eyes can see everything, but they can't see themselves. In the same way, the I, the capital letter I, or awareness, or I am, is before everything else, and it can be aware of everything. But you're saying that, in a way, we are saying that it cannot, well, we can't even say that it can't be aware of itself. It can, but not like two things. So knowing this and understanding this, what changes?
What changes is that knowing yourself as awareness, and in that awareness you should be able to see that everything is awareness only in reality. The name and forms are attributions to the awareness given. So when you know that it is that awareness is the reality of everything, then there is no separation between the otherness which can be felt because of the separation which we are really feeling in our transaction. But at the same time, you will transact with the knowledge that it is name and form and awareness which is there. So neither liking nor disliking, nor hatred nor love, nothing will be special. Everything will be treated the same way. Sarva Bhuta Hidairaha. So that every object becomes equally dear or equally liked by such a person who knows everything is the same truth.
So Arvindaji, my question is slightly more specific than that. What I'm driving at is just simple, right? That there is realization of this experientially is what you're saying. And I'm talking not about the realization experientially. I'm saying just simply starting to understand this, even mentally or at some level, when this understanding starts to come in your life, in the manifest life, or in your state of mind, does something start to change for you? Or it only sort of, when you really realized the understanding has really sunk in, then obviously we assume and hope that the suffering or the mental chatter dissipates. But I'm talking about, just simply when you start to understand it, not when you have really seen it, but just even conceptually understanding it. What happens? What changes? Or does anything change just by getting it conceptually?
Definitely it is not a conceptual knowledge alone. It is an experiential knowledge. It is an experiential knowledge which doesn't become like an experience of an object outside. When you realized you were dreaming, it is not a world of object outside, it was something which happened within yourself. But the moment when you knew that it was a dream and it was happening inside, it is your own mental thing. You lost every value for the world of objects in the dream, where you were also in the dream as an enjoyer of the dream, inside the dream. That dreamer entity has no identity later when the realization, when you wake up, that the dreamer as a dreamer in the dream was none other than you yourself, in a form of ignorance of thinking that there is a world reality of the dream. That reality of the world goes. But that doesn't mean that what you saw while dreaming at the time as a dreamer did not have an experience. The experiences were real at the time of the reality of the dream, but they do not have any importance and value when you realize it was a world of dream. So when it happens, that knowledge happens to us in this waking world, there is no special attraction or any value added to anything. You feel self-contented, a person of self-satisfaction. Nothing attracts you, nothing repels you. You are neither tempted by anything, nor you are repulsed by anything. Things which are happening naturally will continue to happen. You will become an observer to that. And whether sunlight comes, rain comes, whatever is required to do for the rain or the sun or the fire or the ice will do. as the body is also part of that. But I am not the body. The body will do what the body needs to do. You will be aware of what the body is doing, but you will not be owning that action of yours when the body is doing. You will be observing that what your body is doing.
Yeah, I guess what I was thinking, and maybe later at some time, maybe when we talk one-on-one, or if somebody else has any input on this, they can DM me. I would be really grateful. As my DP, if you PTR, it says pretty much this is what I'm saying. It's like before enlightenment, carry water, chop wood, and then after enlightenment, carry water, chop wood. That does mean something. It means, the wood is still wood. Like when you're walking on the street, if you fall, and if you bleed, there's still blood, there's still pain. I mean, exceptions are there to that. Even I will go that far and say that maybe there are some that don't hurt when they bleed. So suffering obviously is different from pain, and we understand and acknowledge that. We're not talking about just the mental suffering, right? But I'm saying that when you start to understand it conceptually, so you said, no, it's not a concept. So what I'm saying is initially it is a concept to some extent. Even the very understanding of the starts coming in for you, that I will not discount that. It should not remain a concept. It should be part of one's living reality. It is actually reality, but we are identified with something else. So till that identification with something else doesn't fully go away, just the understanding coming in, obviously certain things still do not change. You will still feel hungry. You will still, if there's pain, then that you want to do something about it. So some things don't change. And I'm wondering what does change, because for a lot of us, it doesn't instantly become what you're saying, that you will know that, yes, you do understand that there is me. And this here is also me, because all of this is happening within awareness, but you still feel the various emotions that you were feeling earlier. If one person may not be feeling them, maybe let's say in your case, Arvindoji, maybe you don't feel them, but let's say I still feel all of those things. So some things have not changed, at least in the beginning. So I assume that means that there is not a full realization. That is why this is still there at times.
When such emotions come in your mind, there is a possibility that you identify with the emotions and you will get carried away with that, emotions of the body or in the mind. Forget about the body, mind itself. But when you are aware that emotion is that, when you are aware that the emotion is there, and you see the emotion as an act of our effect in the mind, you are not identifying that. Even when the emotions come in the mind, it doesn't carry you along with the emotions. That's what I wanted to say.
Right. So is it just force of habit, Arbindaji, that we get, that when the emotion comes in, that we identify it? It doesn't necessarily mean that we are still identified. It just means that we start giving it a meaning. We don't just let the emotion flow out. So it's okay for the emotion to come in. We just don't have to get identified with it. Right? And
Yes.
it's a force of habit that we sort of still go to that. Okay.
You identify them and don't associate with them. That is what is called freedom from the mind.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Is there a separation between the emotion and the seer, and therefore and the experiencer, I guess, of that emotion? So there's the separation between the emotion and the experiencer, correct?
What you are aware of is not what you are. If you are aware of an emotion coming in your mind and you are aware of that time you are not part of the emotion. Emotion is an object happening in your mind. you are able to observe it from your point of view. But if you do not see it as an emotion separate, you identify that, then you become you get carried away with the emotion. Either you become angry, or you become loving, or you become hating, or whatever may be the emotion that comes in your mind. We associate with that, and then we get carried away. That time we are not associating with our reality, we are getting attached to the mind in motion. But when mind is in motion, which is called thoughts and emotions, and the one who is seeing the movements of the mind in the thoughts and emotions, he can choose to operate it his way, or he has a freedom to be associate or not associate with it. But his association or not association will not be blind with the mind. It will be more in tune with nature, because nature has a potency to behave for different aspects. In fact, if I am to quote Shankara when he is talking in the first sutra on the Brahma Sutra, he says, a jnani will be like an animal. He used literally the word Pashwadivesha Visheshat. Will be like an animal. When grass is shown, it will come towards it. When a stick is shown, the animal will run away. A jnani who has no this thing, he is using that. A crude example is to say that even for a fire, a jnani will move away from the fire, because that is the body will get burned by the fire is a knowledge which cannot be denied by even a jnani or an ajnani, both. What happens is that when these type of knowledges are having, there is an observation or the statement in which, or the status in which one identifies and reacts, varies between the two people. One has an intention for it, the other has no intention. It is natural, governed by the nature's law. Prakriteir anyado bhavo na katanchit bhavishyati. That's what this says, that the things of the nature has got definite role to play in the nature. They will play as per that. That is why we cannot say that two of them people can be the same way. That, in the examples of the Puranas or the stories which have been passed on from the people who have realized, you can see variation from that, from King Janaka to Yajnavalkya to Vasishta to Durvasa, who is angry, or in the modern times, people like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or Ramana Maharshi, etc., etc. There are so many. Each one has got body, has got a dharma. It will function as per the dharma. But that doesn't mean that their abidance in the truth, which they have earned in their mind or in their knowledge, is the one which is controlling their physical sense. No. Physical one is as per the laws of nature which is created. But the knowledge that there is a seed from which the tree has come. The tree will go towards where the sunlight is there. That is the nature of the tree. It is not controlled by the seed. The seed is the cause for the tree to come. But the tree will move forward where the water is there or where the sunlight is there. That is the form of the nature of the tree. Same way, if to move away from the heat or to move away from the cold, but the body is natural for the body to do that. The fire will burn, even the body will get burnt. That doesn't change that. The truth doesn't change. The truth is there in the dharma, in the objects also. What is coming as a knowledge is also that knowledge only. The fire, the quality of the fire or the dharma of the fire is also that truth. The chill and the cold of the ice is also the same truth. But one is in the form of fire, one is in the form of ice. Does it mean that truth is two different truths? No. Truth is only one. It is appearing as one as fire and one as ice. Same way, our experiences will change according to the objects which we are interacting with our physical body. That doesn't mean that the knowing the truth what we are will never get affected by what we are interacting with our knowledge. But there won't be any foolish attraction towards not knowing the reality of things. That will never happen. Because there is nothing to be gained, nothing to be lost. Amrita Bhavanti. He knows he is an immortal self. For what more he wants to accumulate things? He is the one who is complete in himself. He is happiness personification. He is nothing external which can make him more happy, external thing which can diminish his happiness. Such a person will be balanced, equipoised, not affected by what's happening in the world outside, nor by the world inside in his own mind. He is always a sthita prajna or a person of equilibrium.
Dear all, are there any questions on the section of Upanishads what we discussed today? Arvindoji will answer for those. The last one in the 9 mantras. If there are no any direct questions on the Upanishads, we will close this and reopen the forum for general discussions. All general discussions can be done in that forum. Are there any direct questions in Upanishads? Please come up and ask.
I think we can close that.
I request Prasad ji to close with a chanting. Then
Raj can open it.
Yeah, I just wanted to. Could you please explain the meaning of the third line of the 9th mantra? Hrida Manisha Manasa Abhikliptyoyah. Could you please explain that again, Aurobinji?
It is in the mind of the Manisha, means the one who inquires into the reality of the Purusha. It shines, it diverges in the mind, because as human beings, we have only one instrument to know the truth. All our knowledge is in the mind or in the intellect. Manisha means intellect. In the intellect only we can know that this Purusha is not with any linga. Alinga means without any identification mark. And he is na sadrisham asti. There is no thing which I can compare equal to that. There is something in which is within my knowledge. So when these two things are known, that knowledge is there, yet you cannot deny the existence of the seed in the tree. Same way, there cannot be existence, we cannot deny the existence of that reality from which everything has come up. That shine, that knowledge, when it happens in anything, the knowledge that a leaf of the tree knows that I am from this very seed which I have become that leaf, gives the satisfaction for the leaf that I am the seed in the form of a leaf. Same way, I am that reality which is in the form of a human being today. That knowledge happens only in the mind of the one who thinks about it. That is what the word says.
Thank you, sir.